So you're just hanging out with your villager and suddenly there is a big rat. So you want to take care of it. But when you're fighting, you slowly realize that he might be too big of a match for you. And you die! Oh no! Hi there, my name is Starchip and in this video I will teach you tips and tricks and the basics of the combat in Stacklands. So this is your villager. When you first start playing this game, you might encounter a giant rat or another enemy in a few moons. They will try to go to your villager when the game is not paused, like this. And they will slowly move towards your first villager that you created. If you, for example, create a second villager, right here, it will never go to this villager. Look. It's not doing anything, it's not moving towards it. It's only moving towards your first villager that you created. When this creature arrives at one of your villagers, like this, they will go into a fight and you cannot move your villager away. What you can do is you can add another villager there, and now there are two villagers fighting this one rat. This is better because your villagers will get twice as much attacks in and they will have twice as much lives as they would have had if they were on their own, of course. That's a really big tip. If you're in trouble, if you have a lot of villagers, you can put all of them in the battle. There's no limit to this. Pause here. Correction. Only put all of them in the battle if you are sure that you're going to win, because if you lose all of your villagers, you will lose your whole world. So don't do that. Don't let all of your villagers die and a giant rat will just be defeated. Look at this. They will probably win like now. Maybe one of them dies if they really are unlucky, but... Or they both die if you're unlucky. Like, this was still close, it was really scary. But we won. The second kind of card that you can go in a combat with is an animal card. Like this one rabbit that you can see here. This will never go into combat out of his own. You see, nothing is happening. But if you want to slay it, you can put one of your villagers on here. And they will fight each other. It's actually really scary, because the rabbit is kind of strong, especially when your villager has no life at all. What you can do though, and this is also a really important tip, if you initiate the fight like this, you can just move your villager away. This also counts for enemies. So when there is a giant rat like here, you can just go into combat like this, and maybe they will do a few hits to each other, and then you can just move them away. It's especially powerful if your villager is faster in attacking than the enemy, because then you can hit them, move your villager away, go into combat again, hit them, move your villager away, and they will not have a chance to attack you. To know how fast your villager is in attacking, I highly recommend the higher sidebar mod and the better info mod. You can see all of the information in the bottom left. You can see the attack speed, the hit chance, the damage, the defense, and the estimated damage per second. It's super useful because here you can see that our attack speed is slow. And here you can see that for the giant rat, the attack speed is normal. So what I just told you will not work on the giant rat. Even if you're like multiple people in combat, you can always move them away like that. It's really, really useful. And the rabbit just pooped. Also, I would recommend when you do this, make the game pause. Because sometimes what I had is that it's unpause, you move there, and then it goes into combat with your villager because you just missed the spot. Like you dropped it right here. And then it moves to your villager, and then you cannot escape with your villager anymore. So there are lots of different enemies. You have a giant rat, there exists a skeleton, or even a bear. They all have their own stats, they can drop their own things. And it's pretty scary, because when you're in combat with one of them, like this, the other ones will still move towards the battle. Look. And when they come to the battle, like any second now, they will join the battle and they will also attack your villagers. So that's extremely scary, especially when the giant rat initiates the fight with your villager, so you cannot move your villager away. And then the other enemies join as well. Yeah, your villager is just gone. So that's really scary. What you can do in this situation though, if you want to separate them a little bit, use this rabbit. I learned this one from another YouTuber, Card Pillars. It's so useful. Like you can just move them away. Like this. Because normally you cannot move these cards. I'm trying to move it, but there's no way. But with this one, you can. It's really useful. At one point in the game, you will unlock this idea, and it says that range is good against melee, melee is good against magic, and magic is good against ranged. What does that actually mean? Because when you look at the villager, you don't see anything. Well, all of your villagers are by definition just melee. They are using their hands, but you don't see it up here, but they are using their hands and they are melee. If you give one of them a sword, for example, you can actually see, well, it doesn't say, really? It doesn't say? Alright, it doesn't say that it's melee, but it's still melee. For enemies, you can actually see this. As you can see, this giant rat is a melee unit. The enemies can also have different types. Here you have like the ranged one, here you have the magic one, and here you have the melee one. So this melee swordsman is good against this magic guy, the magic shaman. Giving different weapons, for example this magic one to your villager, will turn it into a wizard, and now it's magic. And magic is of course good against this ranged guy. So we can put them into combat like this. I mean, our villagers don't have a lot of health at all. Let's heal them real quickly. Very nice. And let's add another villager, like this. And as you can guess, we can also give a bow to the villager. Now it's an archer. Oh, we unlocked the pack because of that, because he did another quest. And this archer is of course good against this melee person. Oh, you can see that we are now in battle here. You can also like do this, grab the rabbit to remove the giant rat from here. And now, if everything is well, we can have separate fights, as you can see. And it will say here that it's very effective. Melee is very effective against magic. And that basically means that they will do double damage. Alright, you're also going to go into combat. But here, you see, very effective. It's super nice. And because if you initiate it, you can just remove all of the villagers. Also another big tip, you can always pause. Just use spacebar like this. And when you pause, you can just think about things. It's super useful. Unless you don't want to pause, like that's fair if you want to play the game like that. But eventually, when your board gets super big, you will probably want to pause someday. So after you downloaded those mods, you can actually see how fast the giant rat is, how fast the shaman is. Every enemy is different, so you need to read it for all of them. Like this goblin shaman is really slow in attacking, 2.9 seconds. This swordsman has now a normal attack speed, so what you now can do, let me remove the other enemies. What you can do is now combat scam. Look at this. Very nice. And now we can do this again. Wait until it attacks. And do it again. And here we go. He didn't even get a chance to attack us. It's so good. Of course, I didn't tell you, but when a villager or an enemy hits 0 hit points, it of course dies. Another tip, which I cannot really show you to you right now, but at the end of every moon, your villagers will eat. And when they eat, they will heal a little bit. So if you start a fight like a little before the moon, they can take a few hits, they can deal a few hits, and then they eat and they heal. And it's really nice if they have full health, because they can of course last longer and give a lot more hits to the other enemy. Or not the other enemy, but just the enemy. Like I showed you before, you can give equipment to your villagers. They can have one equipment right here in the middle. They can have headgear and they can have armor. You can just click on this little thing here after you give them something and you can see what they are currently wearing. It's very nice. As you unlock the years, you will discover things and see what works for you. Also, when you download those mods, you can exactly see what it will give you. Like a bow will give you minus attack speeds, which is pretty bad if you want to combat scam. Like attack, remove your villager, attack, remove your villager, like we showed you before. But the hit chance will go up, the damage will go up. And also, a lot of weapons bring like a special ability to the game. And this one will give your villager a 7% chance to do a critical hit on the target. And every weapon is different in that way. If you want to read more, by the way, about combat stats, I put a link down there in the description that will take you to the site where all the stats are explained. It's also where the information on the bottom left of every card comes from. Moving your villagers away is also very good because some enemies will give you like a status effect like bleeding, then you lose a little bit of HP every time, like every few seconds. It's actually quite hurtful, but then you can move your villagers away and wait it out. Or when your villager is stunned and cannot do anything, you of course want to remove your villager until the stun is gone. So I hope this video has helped you. If you have any other questions or you have your tip yourself, please leave a comment down below. I will add a pinned comment and in this comment you will see all of the tips and tricks that I have received after this video. So I hope you enjoyed this one and we'll see you in another video. Bye!